Shock and horror in a picturesque part of western Cape Breton tonight.
August 2021, and Canada is rocked by news of a shark attack.
A 21-year-old woman from Cape Breton was airlifted to hospital after an apparent shark attack.
It's the first confirmed shark bite in Canadian waters in over 150 years. And just the latest in a number of mysterious shark sightings being reported right across Canada's eastern seaboard. Is the Atlantic's most formidable hunter heading north?
Have you ever been here before?
To Nova Scotia? No. No, you?
No, never been here.
It's winter in Cape Breton, and the shark behind the attack has long since departed.
This is pretty cool up here, huh?
I mean, it's the dead of winter here right now, it looks like. I feel like I'm at the North Pole.
Now, shark experts Megan Winton and Greg Skomel comb the coastline looking for clues.
Unprovoked attacks on humans are extremely rare events, and in particular this far north. Almost unheard of. And there's really just a handful of species that come here in the summertime. And you've got the basking shark, it eats plankton, you know. Forget that, right? You got porbeagles, which tend to be much smaller, very rarely, if ever, implicated in attacks on people. You got blue sharks. Yeah, they're relatively abundant in the summertime, but still, they're not a dangerous shark. So in my mind, it really just leaves one culprit, and that's the great white shark.
White sharks have traditionally been seen as rare visitors to Canadian waters. Up until 2006, there had been just 32 recorded sightings. But in recent years, there have been more and more reports of white sharks heading north.
What are these white sharks doing here? What's drawing them this far north? And those are the kinds of questions we're trying to answer.
Greg and Megan's goal is to put a camera tag on a white shark in Canadian waters for the very first time. If they can tag one, they may be able to learn why more sharks appear to be moving north.
Man, this is wild out here. It's deep water between us and that island.
Off the island of Margaree, Megan uses a drone to survey the attack site.
Oh, wow, look at that. Just beyond the snow, there's a bunch of seals. You see them?
Yeah. Look at those gray seals, right?
I think so, yeah. Look at them. Big slabs, little pockets of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. It's crazy deep, dark water.
Yeah, it looks like it drops right off, right at the shoreline there.
Perfect place for them to hunt. The seals wouldn't see them coming at all here.
Ambush hunters. White sharks like to surprise their prey. Hanging in the deep, their gray backs blend into the background, making them difficult for seals to spot from the surface. Their eyes are highly sensitive to contrasts between light and dark. Seals or a swimmer silhouetted against the surface would stand out in vivid relief.
You know, I can't say with 100% certainty that this is, you know, an incident created by a white shark, but I'm very confident that it was. There's just a lot of evidence. There's plenty of seals here. The habitat is ideal for white sharks. We've got an eyewitness account. They saw a dark fin. You know, as far as I'm concerned, this was a white shark attack. And because it made a bad decision, it's likely it was a juvenile shark, an inexperienced shark.
Megan and Greg now believe they know what type of shark was responsible for the Canadian attack. But there are no signs of white sharks to tag in this near-freezing water. Every year, white sharks undertake huge migrations in the North Atlantic. It's February, and at this time of year, the relatively warm waters of South Carolina are a favorite winter destination. To catch up with the sharks, Greg and Megan are nearly 1,500 miles south in the town of Hilton Head.
It's nice to be warm.
Yeah, this is sweet. Well, I'm psyched to get out on the water here.
Greg and Megan's mission here is to catch and tag as many sharks as they can find and follow them north. The data could point them to where the white sharks are traveling to in Canada and why. To help find them, Greg and Megan team up with Chip Michaelov, who's been tagging sharks for Greg's Atlantic white shark study for the last 6 years.
Good to see you.
Chip leads the team 60 miles offshore, where the continental shelf slips away to depths of over 300 feet. The deep water here is the perfect place for white sharks to ambush prey like dolphins. But the depth makes it difficult to tag. The only way to lure one up is using a baited hook.
What the hell happens when we hook up?
Oh my gosh, the adrenaline rush through the roof. I'll tell you one thing, you sleep really good that night. That's
Oh my
for sure.
gosh.
Well, I want to sleep really good tonight, which means I really want to get one of these fish.
As Chip prepares a white shark favorite of tuna heads, Megan readies 2 tags.
So this is an acoustic transmitter. This is a tag that will ping every minute or so. And whenever a shark swims past an acoustic receiver, which line the whole coast of the US and Canadian Atlantic, we'll get a date and time stamp of when that shark was there.
The second device is a satellite tag.
This logs light level information, temperature, and depth data for a year. And so we'll use this tag to figure out the broad scale movements of that animal over the course of the year. So together, this packs a huge punch.
All they need now is a shark.
The dorsal just
Oh
bent.
yeah, see the
That's okay.
dorsal?
Maybe if I just
Dorsal's
go,
up.
it's okay.
You guys ready for this?
Where is it? Where is it?
Right
It's
here.
right here.
Right here. That's it.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Drawing a white shark in is one thing, but will it take the bait?
You're coming in towards the bait.
Coming to the bait. Coming to the bait. Oh, shaking his head. Shaking his head.
I've reeled in a lot of big fish in my life, big tunas, a couple of marlin, and this is different.
Feels like I'm trying to stop a truck.
Oh, look at that fish. Wow. That's no small fish.
Yeah.
All right, man, go. Oh my God.
I can't.
Game on! Game on! You can do it, Meg.
Oh my God.
At 9 feet long, it's a juvenile female, a perfect candidate for Megan's tag.
Yes! Yeah! Nice! Nice work! Yeah!
Tag on. The shark they've named Reese is the 283rd individual to join the biggest study of white sharks in the Atlantic. While her satellite tag will detach in a year's time, the small acoustic pinger will continue to track her movements for another 10 years. Where Reese heads in the coming months will help Greg and Megan build a unique picture of the movements of Atlantic white sharks. And if Shark Reese has a preference for Canada. Over the next few weeks, Chip tagged 7 more white sharks, bringing the total number of Carolina sharks tagged this winter to 8. Over the next 3 months, all 8 head north. A network of thousands of listening stations log the signal from their tags. As the sharks move north, they head towards cooler water. White sharks are the members of an elite family of 5 shark species, known as the lamnids. While most sharks are cold-blooded, lamnids have evolved the ability to keep their bodies warmer than the surrounding water. They can capture the heat they generate as they swim and keep it in their bodies through specialized blood vessels. It's a superpower that allows them to thrive in waters off limits to most of their cold-blooded cousins. By June, sharks Josiah and Barnacle Bend reach Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the white shark capital of the Atlantic. Every year, hundreds of white sharks gather to feed on the huge seal colonies that pepper the coastline here.
Seals are constantly coming and going, but estimates have been anywhere in up to 50,000 seals in that region during the summertime. So it makes sense that a lot of white sharks will come to Cape Cod.
Greg has spent the last decade studying great whites in these waters. He's discovered they like to hunt close to shore, in water as shallow as a few feet.
Yeah, hey John, I got one down here, north end of Monomoy. I'm circling now.
Tagging sharks is much easier here. The water is so shallow, Greg uses eyes in the sky to spot the sharks from the air. There's no need for a hook.
It's 10:30 and a boat and a half. You probably see him.
He's on the port side.
All right, let's get ready here.
Yeah! That's how it's done.
By the end of July, 12 more sharks are tagged, bringing the total in the Atlantic white shark database to 560. But despite the almost limitless amount of seals on offer, several tagged sharks choose to leave the Cape and head north. They're soon joined by shark Reese and her fellow South Carolina sharks, Pavel, Sicklefin, and Eddie, who bypass Cape Cod altogether on their way up towards the Canadian border. To find out what's drawing them to Canada, Greg and Megan follow the sharks back over the border. Their mission remains to find a white shark and deploy the first ever camera tag on the back of one in Canadian waters.
Canada's going to be a lot different from what Megan and I are used to. We go to Cape Cod, it's a fairly small area, shallow water, lots of white sharks. Up here, much different. Lots of space. Finding them's going to be pretty tricky.
Their first destination is the southern tip of the Nova Scotian Peninsula, some 300 miles south of the suspected white shark attack. Last year, over 20 different white sharks were detected on the listening stations in the area. And local fishermen also report an increase in sightings here.
Welcome to Nova Scotia.
Finally. A little chilly.
How was the drive up?
At the small harbor of Wedgeport, Greg and Megan meet Canadian shark experts Heather Bowlby and Warren Joyce.
Awesome, awesome. You got a spot for us to go?
I think so, yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Heather and Warren have been investigating Canadian white shark sightings for over 5 years.
We're really excited that Greg and Megan were able to come up this year. We only know snippets about white sharks in Canada. We're still trying to work out why they're here, what they're doing while they're here, and the places that they frequent. So it's an open field. There's a lot to answer.
As they head out, Warren and the skipper, Eric Jacquard, decide where to start their hunt.
We've had reports on sightings for the last couple of weeks, and then we've actually seen the fish Saturday and Sunday here ourselves. So they're around.
They're around. Okay, well let's hope we get one today.
That's right, Captain. Yeah. We've all seen great whites in the area. One of our friends was traveling from the island to home, and he did see an actual seal bit in half. And then another friend of ours, he actually seen the shark throw the seal up in the air. There's been a lot of interesting sightings. It seems to be more and more common these last few years. It seems to be a growing concern.
"5 miles from harbor, Megan preps a brand new kit that could reveal why white sharks are here.
So this is my favorite Shark Spy tool at the moment. This tag is outfitted with a bunch of different sensors that will tell us exactly how the shark is moving and navigating its environment 20 times a second, which is absolutely an incredible amount of information. The best part about this tag, though, what I love about it, is it has a camera in it that allows us to see what the shark is doing the whole time it's on the animal. It's gonna be a real game changer for us in terms of figuring out how they use Canadian waters.
To attach the new tag, they need to get within 10 feet of the shark. But first, they have the huge challenge of drawing one in. There's been less than 100 confirmed sightings in Canada since records began. To tempt a white shark close, the team depends on baited lines. White sharks have one of the most sensitive noses in the ocean. It's thought 14% of their brains are dedicated to processing smells. Will any pick up the scent? "2 p.m., and the oils leaching off the 3 buoyed bait lines now create a slick several miles long.
The water's super deep. We can't use a spotter plane to find them because the sharks get down a few feet and we can't see them. So in order to get them, we got to entice them, get them in tight so we can tag them.
Minutes turns into hours, and there's still no movements on the buoys. Then, 8 hours into the operation.
Oh, we got something.
Which one's it on?
Number two.
A white shark takes the bait.
Yeah, there it goes. Shark right in the middle.
There it goes. Okay. All right.
To find a white shark on their first day is huge. Heather and Warren have only ever tagged one white shark a year in Canada.
Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
How we roll.
They now need to pull in the bait lines to get the shark close enough to tag.
Okay, bring it in a little bit.
Unlike in South Carolina, there's no hook, just the bait to keep the shark interested.
So you're teasing them right up.
Near 3. Now let him come back.
All right.
Tie off. Keep coming. He's interested. So let's see if he'll come for two of the close ones.
Look at that. See him up there? See him up there? Yep. He's off here.
Yeah, there he goes.
Diving.
Get ready for an ambush. There he goes. There he goes. He came right back. Look at that.
But after one last look at the bait, the white shark moves off into the deep.
Pretty sneaky little critter there. So, I mean, the good news is there's white sharks here. The bad news is we can't get them close enough to tag, but we hope that changes.
Heading back to shore, the team review the footage from cameras mounted on the bait lines.
Oh, that's such a good one!
So that's when the buoy went down. You out of that, Megan?
Look at that.
Oh, it really wanted that thing. This is awesome.
Oh, it tears it up.
With no claspers visible, the shark is a juvenile female and new to the Atlantic white shark database.
I think we put this one at like 9, right?
I think so.
A
too.
9 or 10 footer, so not a super big one. Still a big shark, but not really big for a white shark.
Do you think this is typical size you guys are seeing up here?
It seems to be a lot of the juveniles. A lot of the acoustic detections we get, it's in that, you know, let's say 9 to 12 foot range. It's the smaller guys.
Yeah.
It's an important clue and different to the pattern Greg and Megan see some 260 miles to the south around Cape Cod.
We do see juveniles, but a lot of our resident sharks are big males. And those big males may be schoolyard bullies, you know, pushing these smaller animals into other parts of their range, which include in the summer and the fall, Canadian waters.
In 2019, a drone operator captured sharks clashing off Cape Cod. Could territorial adult males be pushing smaller white sharks north?
We also know there are social interactions between these sharks because we see scars. You know, there are bites, there are injuries that are clearly from other sharks. And is that associated with mating? Certainly it could be, but on juveniles, it could also be associated with negative interactions between sharks. In other words, get the hell out of here, this is my neighborhood.
Territory may just be part of the puzzle of what's drawing sharks north. Canada's Atlantic waters have some of the richest fishing grounds in the world. Sharks in the 8 to 9 feet range are youngsters, and for the most part, fish hunters. The shape of the seabed here, combined with the cold Labrador Current as it mixes with the Gulf Stream, brings nutrients up to the surface. It makes for the perfect conditions for marine life to flourish in spectacular numbers. Canada is also experiencing one of its hottest Augusts on record. Could the mix of so much food and warming waters be part of what draws white sharks north? With strong winds putting a hold on their search, the team decide to split up to check as many listening stations as possible to see if any of their tagged sharks have shown up. Greg heads for one of Canada's most northerly stations in Conception Bay, Newfoundland, over 700 miles to the north. Every spring, icebergs float past the entrance to this bay. Even in summer, the weather is unpredictable, and sea temperatures can plummet with little warning. It's the furthest north white sharks have ever been found. To check if there's been any new sightings, Greg joins up with Mike Piersack from Fisheries and Oceans Canada.
How deep does this bay get?
This fjord gets up to well over 100 meters.
300-400 feet deep? That's incredible. What comes in here?
You'll even get fluke and tuna in here that'll follow the cod in. So sort of a domino effect. Once one comes, they all come.
And I can see why white sharks would want to come in here and visit occasionally.
Yeah, tons
There's a
of
lot to eat. Yeah.
The crew keep a careful watch as the divers do a summer check of the listening stations. If a shark is passed within 1,500 feet, it will record the date and time.
Sorry, the wind's got me, Anna.
Let's fire this baby up.
See what we got.
See if you recognize any of these transmitters. Nothing unusual to you.
No.
No, I don't see any white sharks either. So no detection so far this year. We've got some other receivers to check, but I'm not surprised at all. You know, we are really at the northern limit of this shark's range. And when you're at the northern limit of any species range, you're in a very dangerous place for that species. The white shark is no exception.
White sharks spend most of their time in waters between 52 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. While they can survive in temperatures as low as 39 degrees, spend too long in water this cold, it's thought they can die.
I have certainly seen sharks that have been cold shocked. You know, it's happened very close to where I live on Cape Cod. A bunch of thresher sharks. We had a really significant drop in temperature late in the season, and those sharks became trapped. And they actually washed up on shore, frozen, which was amazing. So it killed them. And certainly we don't see a lot of white sharks go through that. And that's because they probably avoid those areas where those kinds of temperature extremes can happen rapidly.
Back in Nova Scotia, the weather has cleared enough for Megan and Warren to check local listening stations to see if any more white sharks have arrived.
All right, 9142.
9142?
That's one of our fish.
That's one of your fish.
All right, Dropbox. 9142, who are you? Ah, that's one of Chip's.
One of Chip's?
That's awesome. He's gonna be so excited.
Shark 9142 is a South Carolina shark known as Asheville. She was tagged by Chip on March 8th, 2019. At 9 foot, she's another juvenile, around 16 years old. Females reach adulthood when they get to around 15 feet. And just like the other sharks tagged in Carolina, Shark Asheville spent the spring moving up the eastern seaboard. She arrived in Cape Cod on June 23rd and stayed for 7 days. She first pinged in Nova Scotia on July 18th. It's the third time Asheville has been detected in Canadian waters. And she's not alone.
No.
Who's that?
3 more sharks are detected on the listening station.
Hold on, I've got to double check.
One is a big male called Mr. Frisky,
So exciting.
On the 23rd, yeah.
but the rest are all juveniles. A pattern is emerging. 3 days later, and with evidence of white sharks in the area, the team are back together in Wedgeport, Nova Scotia, trying once again to get a camera on the back of a shark. Within minutes, one checks out the baited lines.
Oh, here it is.
He's on yours.
If they can get the camera tag on, It will be a first in Canadian waters and could reveal what they hunt here.
All right, tag's ready.
It's a good-sized fish.
Right here, right here,
Stand
right
back.
here.
Get back, back.
Yeah, look right there. Oh, Greg, you got it. Oh, it's still too deep.
A little too deep.
Oh.
Sliding past you. Oh. He just grabbed the ball.
Oh.
Damn it.
It's the second close miss for Greg and Megan.
I think if I haven't been doing this for decades, I'd probably throw myself overboard because it's very disappointing. You think you have that shot, but when in doubt, don't, right? And that's what I did. I held back. Shark passed, I think, a little too deep, snagged another bait and took off. And then, you know, all you do is hope you get one more shot.
With just 4 days left of the expedition and time running out to get a camera tag on a shark, the team decide to try a new location.
What we're seeing with the receivers that we've checked so far is there's little pockets of activity, different places along the coast. And one of the most active spots seems to be the Bay of Fundy. So it might be a great idea to head there and maybe we'll get a camera tag out down there. It's probably our best bet, fingers crossed.
The Bay of Fundy lies just north of the US border. It's home to the highest tidal surges on Earth. At this time of year, warm, humid air from the land mixes with cool sea air, creating thick patches of fog. This will be their last chance to get the camera tag on a shark. And conditions could not be tougher. They begin to bait the water once again.
Currents here are absolutely amazing. You know, we got a 20, 30-foot tidal difference, and that water comes in and out pretty quickly. So I think that's gonna spread the scent trail around. These sharks are so well tuned to finding scent that it works in our favor. We'll see.
Shark! Shark! There we go.
Game on, game on.
Okay, bring all of the floats in. Warren, if it's pulling you, let the rope go.
Let it go.
Let it go. No.
Oh!
There it
That's
is.
a white shark!
Yeah, that is a white
Look
shark.
at him. You gotta see this!
That was incredible.
Ah!
Jeez.
Oh, there she is, right here. Yep. Greg, this side. She's going under the boat.
Boy, she's fast.
She is fast.
There he is.
Awesome.
Look at this. Look at this.
There she is.
Oh, she's got you.
Yeah! Who did I hit? Who did I hit?
It's the first time a camera tag has ever been deployed on a white shark in Canada. It will record every move the shark they've nicknamed Quaddy makes for the next 24 hours, then release.
Oh, that was fantastic. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm still shaking. Like probably half an hour later because I'm still so excited.
The team tracked Quaddy using a hydrophone to pick up the signal coming from his tag.
Oh, yay.
It's scanning, and it'll send out the signal, and it'll bounce back 55001, so it's found it.
Ooh. Oh, okay, cool.
Staying close to the shoreline, Quaddy hugs the seabed at 75 feet. There's so much plankton in the water, visibility is less than 3 feet. Sensors log his depth, speed acceleration, and even direction.
Oh, this might be coming back now. Yep.
Out in deeper water, Quaddy stays in the top 200 feet of the water column. Unusually for a white shark, never diving any deeper. Then 30 minutes in, he suddenly speeds up and heads south. And they lose Quaddy's signal.
Found zero.
"24 hours later, the tag releases. Megan uses a radio signal to locate it.
Whoa! Oh, Basker! A big Basker! That's amazing!
Big basking shark?
A Basker! It's beautiful, it's huge!
This place is an aquarium.
That was a big fish. So cool. I think I see it! Right in the middle of the weed mat!
Oh yeah, there it is.
Ah!
All right. There it is, beautiful.
Thank God!
Nice. Look at that. What this is right now is just a treasure trove of information.
All right, so here we go.
Okay.
Back at base, the team pore over the footage.
Oh, neat.
Wow.
It just went straight to the bottom, and there's not a lot of light.
Yeah, you put yourself down on the bottom there. First of all, it's hard for anything else to see you.
Certainly, yeah.
Because you have a really dark back. And you're probably blending in really well with that rocky, dark bottom.
But then it definitely goes out into deeper water. Not for very long, though.
No.
Like, it makes a couple quick zigzag dives, and then the rest of the track, it stays pretty shallow in warmer kind of surface waters.
Look at that. That
It must have turned around.
It's, oh, you can just see the side of it. It's going after something. Wait, whoa.
Wait,
Did it get something? What was that?
Okay, we gotta go back. We gotta slow-mo it, because, like, a lot of times with these things, it just happens so fast. Can't even.
Because it definitely turned.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like it grabbed something.
Okay, so it's got its head pointed up now. And then the next shake.
Right there.
Yeah. It's got something in its mouth. I mean,
That's definitely something in its mouth. The shark just fed.
I guess it could be dogfish, it could be skates, it could be halibut, flatfish on there.
I don't know.
It's big enough it had to bite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, it did.
It's the first glimpse at what white sharks are up to in Canadian waters.
so this is really incredible for us to see. I mean, this is one shark, right, that's gotten a camera tag off of Canada so far. But I can already tell you that they operate so differently in this environment than they do off of Cape Cod. A lot of people think of them as only seal eaters or mammal eaters, but they have a very diverse diet and they're very opportunistic predators, which allows them to take advantage of all these wonderful, productive, unique habitats throughout the course of their migration.
September 3rd, and much of Canada breaks its heat records. It's the last day of Greg's trip. To find out if sea temperatures could be influencing shark numbers in the Canadian Atlantic, he heads up to Newfoundland to meet Frederick Sear at the Memorial University.
We have this monitoring program going on for about 30 years right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, we monitor how the ocean is behaving, and we seem to see a warming up over the recent years, especially at the surface.
Really?
Yeah.
Could warming surface waters be allowing white sharks to penetrate further into Canadian territory?
This is sea surface temperature average over decades. So you have the 80s, the 90s, 2000, 2010s. And what you see is basically, if you look at that, you see the isotherm moving up.
That is absolutely amazing. Look at that shift in the black line. And that indicates that white sharks are likely to arrive earlier, spend more time here, leave a little bit later. I mean, I think this is really cool. And it would explain why, you know, more white sharks would come to these areas.
One thing is that underneath the surface, as soon as you hit about 50 meters, it will still remain pretty cold. So we will find here in the middle of the summer waters below 0 degrees Celsius.
Really? Now that's really cool, and I'll tell you why. We've tracked a bunch of our white sharks from Cape Cod, from parts south, as far south as South Carolina. They move up here in the summertime. They love these warm surface waters, you know, but once they get down to about 150, 160 feet, the 50 meters you're talking about, they only go down for a short period of time.
It's exactly the dive pattern white shark Quaddy showed on the camera tag.
What makes perfect sense to me, because you're telling me if they go any deeper, it's too cold for them.
Well, I wouldn't like to be there. I mean,
No,
0
no.
degrees Celsius, I don't know how.
They can't do it. They just absolutely can't do it. So it's really cool because we're seeing that the bulk of our fish spend almost all their time in that warm surface layer.
With white sharks in Canada trapped in the surface layers of the ocean, and the evidence from the camera tag confirming they're opportunistic hunters, the team's review of the year's listening station data brings further revelation. A lot of sharks, normally seen off Cape Cod, are here.
This is really interesting because a lot of these, so broken tail, scary shark, Mr. Frisky, a lot of them were like kind of our resident sharks for years. They didn't even, don't have any detections of them this year. It's really interesting that some of these guys seem to have kind of shifted.
I'm also seeing a lot of South Carolina fish.
A lot of
as well, you know, but not a lot of big adults.
Plotting the detections on a map, the scale of the white shark presence becomes clear.
They're kind of just blowing up everywhere at the same time.
We thought it was quite amazing how many sharks we saw up here this year. There were 78 of them, 78 individuals, which is the most we have seen in Canada since we started monitoring.
That's crazy. Off of Cape Cod, we detected 120. If that puts this in perspective at all, that's a lot of activity up here.
It's evidence Canada is a white shark hotspot, particularly for inexperienced juvenile sharks, and may explain why Canada witnessed its first shark bite in 150 years.
It's been a phenomenal year for me. If you asked me a few years ago, what do you think about white sharks in Canada? I'd say, yes, they go there, but I didn't realize the presence of these animals. These sharks are spreading out almost throughout Canadian waters. This is an ancient animal. It's been around for millions of years. It's a survivor because it can adapt, and it will continue to adapt. We're going to keep seeing white sharks off Canada, and quite possibly we'll see more.